UFC Vegas 92, Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. I'm going to go through every single fight on the card and give you my reaction and breakdown. Starting off with the very first fight of the night, Emily Ducote versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Vanessa Demopoulos gets a split decision. Look, this was a robbery. This was a straight-up robbery. I know it was the first fight of the night. I know it was low-level women's MMA, so nobody's going to care about it. Emily Ducote clearly won this fight, 2-1 or honestly 3-0. Basically, you had Vanessa Demopoulos, first, second, and third round, just charging forward with sloppy shots and getting countered. Got tagged multiple times throughout this fight with the right hand that stung her. Had her a little bit wobbled. Clearly lost the first round, in my opinion. Was getting tagged with the right hand, getting her legs chopped. Second round is the one round maybe you could give to Demopoulos. She came out, she hurt Ducote early, hurt her, and started chasing her down, but never really landed any follow-ups. Was super aggressive, landed some leg kicks, landed some damage, and then after that, Ducote took back over, landing the right hands, landing the leg kicks, and even landed some left hands as well. So the second round, okay, maybe that could go to Demopoulos because she hurt her early. But honestly, Ducote stung her with a couple right hands. I was back and forth, basically 50-50. But honestly, I was starting to lean Ducote when I was really thinking about it. And then the third round, basically Vanessa Demopoulos landed like one big right hand, was very aggressive. And I saw this coming. I said, oh, she's aggressive. Plus there was blood trickling out of the top of Ducote's head. But outside of that, it was like Ducote just countering her. And there was a late takedown attempt from Demopoulos. She got reversed and ended up on top, or got sprawled and ended up on top. Ducote ended up on top, did a little bit of damage on top for like the last minute. The judges, they just don't know what they're watching. I don't understand. I mean, it's making me hate the sport. Again, I know it's a fight that doesn't matter that much, but Ducote won this fight. If you watch this fight and you couldn't determine who was the better fighter, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, Vanessa Demopoulos, super sloppy, marching forward, throwing wild winging shots, not landing a lot of them, landing some right hands really, some good leg kicks really, but Ducote was clearly tagged. I mean, there was multiple times throughout this fight where Vanessa Demopoulos got stung with a nasty counter. Head snap back, legs a little bit jelly. Ducote won this fight, bare minimum 1-3. I could see giving all 3 rounds to Ducote. Moving up on the card, we have Alatengheili versus Edson Rodrigues. Alatengheili gets the unanimous decision win. I think 2 judges had it 30-27 for Alatengheili. 1 judge 29-28 for Edson Rodrigues. This is going to be a hot take. Maybe I have a couple hot takes in this post-fight. I think, honestly, there is a way, potentially, to give Edson Rodrigues this fight, 2-1, potentially. Because first round, Rodrigues knocked him off the feet with a leg kick, looked for a guillotine, ended up getting taken down literally like 30 seconds into the round and got controlled the entire round. Little bit of damage from Alatengheili. Alatengheili takes round 1. Round 2, for the first 2 minutes, Alatengheili didn't look for a takedown, was getting his legs smashed, was landing some shots on the feet, but not much really on the feet. There was like a big right hand in round 2, and then he got a takedown and got control for 2 minutes with no damage. I scored round 2 for Edson Rodrigues. Round 3, Edson Rodrigues was battering him on the feet with good leg kicks again, and then looked for his own takedown. First, like 2 minutes, Alatengheili doesn't look for a takedown again. Edson Rodrigues battering him on the feet. Alatengheili landing some shots, but clearly Edson Rodrigues is winning. Edson Rodrigues looks for a takedown, immediately gets tripped down and ends up on bottom himself and does absolutely nothing. And this round, Alatengheili actually throws a little bit of ground and pound, particularly in the last 30 seconds. I thought live, okay, Alatengheili is going to get it 1-3. But I'm like, the commentators are acting like Alatengheili dominated this. It just simply wasn't the case. He did very limited damage on the ground in every round. But I'm happy that Edson Rodrigues lost. I'm very, very happy he lost because you get taken down, you just lay on your back with closed guard. He never even tried to get up. Never, ever tried to get up other than like the last 5 seconds of maybe round 1, maybe. Closed guard, just laying there, doing absolutely nothing. Was disgusting performance from Rodrigues. Looked like an absolute scrub on the ground. Looked like he's training grappling with Robella's Despain. He has the same grappling coaches as Robella's Despain. A complete embarrassment for Edson Rodrigues. He deserved to lose. I'm happy that he lost. Even though I'm kind of making the case, you could say 2-1 for Rodrigues based on actual damage. but I wouldn't die on that hill, okay? Don't take this the wrong way. I would not die on that hill. Moving up on the card, we have Pinheiro Rodrigues versus Adrian Carnelossi. I don't know. I haven't fully grasped the reaction of this fight. I've seen a little bit of reaction on Twitter. Carnelossi wins via DQ. I'm actually angry. Fuck Mark Smith, first off. His dumb ass. He's one of the worst refs ever. And he's the reason that shit like this happens to begin with. And secondary, fuck Adrian Carnelossi. Okay? And I mean that 100%. And I'm going to put in a picture, but it doesn't really truly grasp the antithesis of what I'm trying to say here. Carnelossi was putting on an absolute show. And when Mark Smith walked away, she was communicating with her corner. This was before she took the DQ or took the stoppage. And she was smiling at her corner. I'll put in a screenshot. It doesn't do it justice. Go watch it. You can see the timestamp of the timeout. You can find it on the ESPN Plus broadcast. She pulled the Aljamain Sterling here. She was getting dominated. She lost the first round, got outstruck, got outgrappled. Second round, she gets hurt badly with a front kick, dropped with a right hand, and then you have Pinheiro Rodrigues on top throwing some ground and pound. She comes down once. There's literally zero impact. The first one is literally nothing. People call it multiple headbutts. There's literally no impact on the first one. And if you watch it in real time, if you slow it down, of course it's going to look bad. That's what every slow motion ever, it looks worse than it actually is. First one is nothing. First one is absolutely nothing. It's just head position. Second one makes some impact. It's literally negligible. It did not matter. It did not hurt her. It did not affect her at all. There's no planet in which that actually hurt Carnelossi. Mark Smith stops it because right after the first one, he screamed, "Watch your head." Carnelossi acts like she got brutal. Ben Askren got up quicker from the Jorge Masvidal flying knee KO than Carnelossi did. She laid on her back acting like she got shot by a sniper. Okay? It was a disgrace. And the fact that she gets to go home with a win because of it, she won it out. Those headbutts did no damage. I don't understand how people are looking at it like, oh, she's so dirty. Watch it back in real time. It's not like that. It was a horrible decision, but she was just going in chest to chest, head pressure. They were not impactful at all. They did not cause any damage at all. Carnelossi knew she was losing and wanted an opportunity to potentially get a DQ. She laid there like she was brutally chinned. But when Mark Smith was yelling, "Watch your head," she was looking up complaining. She had the wherewithal to complain. And also, Carnelossi, I usually don't do this. You can't judge someone based on pictures and physique and blah, blah, blah. Carnelossi's on roids. I'm telling you right now, that doesn't pass the eye test. That's Alistair Overeem, 2010, 2011. That's what I see in Carnelossi. She's cheating, and she got this DQ here. She was smirking at her corner. I'm telling you right now. Pinheiro Rodrigues is an idiot for doing it in the capacity she did. This was not a blatant foul. People were calling it a blatant foul because they showed it in slow motion, so it looked so bad. Go back and watch it in real time. She's an idiot for doing it, especially after the first one. She should have been a little bit more careful. But real time, I don't really blame her. I don't put that much fault on Rodrigues. Carnelossi's a scumbag. She's a cheater. She cheated in this fight. She milked her way to a DQ. She was smirking at her corner. And Mark Smith is a fucking idiot. Mark Smith has caused this. There's fights. I remember there was like a Contender Series fight, maybe 6 months ago, where one fight he called a TKO that should have been a DQ, and another fight he called a DQ that should have been a TKO. And I don't remember if he was ref in both fights, but he was like, counseling with the ref who was in one of them, and he was the ref in one of them. Mark Smith has no idea what he's doing. All he wants to do is talk on camera, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. Carnelossi needs to be cut from the organization. Maybe this needs to be the return of the cuts video. I know people are saying that. Carnelossi's a complete embarrassment. She was clearly losing. She got hurt with that front kick, hurt with that right hand, and she won it out. She's taking the Aljamain Sterling route, and I'm sick and tired of seeing this in the sport. This is now a trend. If you get fouled, pretend like you got brutally chinned, and you get your way out of the fight. Cody Brundage did it, a.k.a. Cody Bumdage did it. Carnelossi did it. Aljamain Sterling did it, and it's a never-ending cycle. Let's move on to the next fight. We've already spent enough time. Abus Magomedov versus Warlley Alves. Both of them, honestly, embarrassment. Abus got a unanimous decision win. The fact that he didn't get a finish just shows how much of an embarrassment it was that Sean Strickland got a title shot from beating him. But basically, Abus just out-grappled him for all 3 rounds. Took him down early in the first round. Warlley Alves was slinging crazy shots. Abus was slinging crazy shots. Abus took him down, dominated him on the ground, controlled him quite a bit. Easy round for Abus. Second round, early takedown, domination, was bullying him. I think even had him in full mount, but was already starting to get tired and couldn't muster up the ground and pound needed to get the stoppage, because had he just let loose with the ground and pound, he would have been able to find a stoppage for sure. And then the third round, Alves got really aggressive, landed a nasty body kick, immediately gets taken down afterwards, gives up his back, gets his back taken, ends up in full mount. Abus was looking for some rear nakeds, but never really got close, looking for to fish for the arm triangle, never really got close. Abus clearly won all 3 rounds, but in my opinion, he's just not UFC caliber. I don't care how good he is in the first round, which even in this fight didn't look that great. You're going life and death. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration. You're struggling to blow Warlley Alves out of the water. I don't want to say he's gassing, because he did grapple the whole fight. But man, he looked exhausted. The body language of his exhaustion in that second and third round, and the fact that he was unable to throw enough ground and pound to potentially find a finish, I just thought it was a really bad look. And I know the UFC barrier of entry has gotten so low, but he gets it done. He's fought in a smart capacity, not to get KO'd, or I guess not to gas out, being super explosive, because that's been his problem in the past. Do a lot of teep kicks, but basically just ragdoll Warlley Alves. Grappling looked really good. Warlley Alves has some decent jiu-jitsu, but I don't know. I just wasn't impressed with this fight. I feel like this was a layup for Abus. I think it was a fight, where he could have got this done in spectacular fashion and kind of made his name back as a slight contender. Maybe, a potential top 15 guy. Not even top 15, but maybe like gatekeeper of the top 15 with a win over Warlley Alves. But this showed me that he's not even top 20. He's not really top 25. I thought this was a lackluster performance, but safe performance from Abus Magomedov, out-grappling him for all 3 rounds. Moving up on the card, we have Tamires Vidal versus Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto gets it done via third-round TKO. First off, Tamires Vidal comes out, starts TikTok dancing. I mean, I don't know if I'm just old or what, but this shit is cringy. I mean, I'm tired of seeing these TikTok dancing. I'm so glad the camera crew cut away from her. She's acting like she's headlining Madison Square Garden. And then she comes out and looks like absolute shit. Melissa Gatto outstriking her, takes her down, full mount, starts throwing elbows to the shoulders. Dominator, Vidal doing absolutely nothing in the first round. Second round, Vidal got aggressive, but ends up in the clinch, ends up getting tripped down, gives up the full mount. Gatto had an armbar at the tail end of the second round. Had it been another 10, 15 seconds, probably would have finished her. And then the third round, and I got to do some research on this, but Gatto lands a punch to the breast, as Chris Taioni would say, and kind of turns around and kind of looks at the ref, and Chris Taioni starts yelling stop from 50 miles away. Chris Taioni got another, I hate Chris Taioni. This dude does this consistently, even when actual more important things are going on and sequences are going on. He'll yell stop from 50 miles away and get pissed when the fighters don't stop. He doesn't actually want to intervene. I don't know if he's lazy. I don't know what, he just doesn't want to do it for whatever reason. So eventually finally gets in there, they stop, and he waves it off as a TKO. So I guess it's a breast punch TKO for Melissa Gatto, which, as far as I was concerned, I didn't think breast punches were illegal. But I swear in a fight that I watched in tape research for this fight card for predictions, there was somebody who called timeout for a breast punch and got a timeout. I wonder if it was Tamires Vidal. I was looking back. I was trying to figure out, obviously it was a women's fight. I want to say it might have been Tamires Vidal versus Montserrat Rendon. But if anyone knows, please let me know. But she tried to call a timeout. She got finished for it. She was going to lose anyway. She came out and fought like an absolute scrub, had nothing off the bottom. And just completely embarrassed herself, to be quite honest. I mean, the UFC caliber, it's breaking my heart, boys. When you've been watching for 14 years, oh my God, I sound old. Yeah, I used to walk uphill both ways to school, by the way, as well, in the snow and ice. But yeah, these young whippersnappers coming in here, TikTok dancing to the cage and then doing absolute jack shit, really annoying. I'm glad she got punched right in the breast. And if I fought her next, if I was a woman and I fought her next in the UFC, I'm targeting her breast nonstop because she's calling timeouts for it. Apparently she doesn't know the rules, but then again, I didn't know I didn't think they were illegal, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, either way, I think also Chris Taioni should have said, keep fighting or it's a TKO. And if she continued to turn away, then he should have called it a TKO, not scream from 3 to 5 business days away, stop, 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 stop. And then almost get angry when they weren't stopping. So Melissa Gatto gets it done with a TKO. Moving up on the card, moving up on the card, we have Oumar C versus Tokkos, I think is how you pronounce his name. Another complete embarrassment by Tucos because, I mean, he got submitted in the first round, rear naked choke. He's hanging out with Brendan Allen, the admitted child abuser, and Brendan Allen beats his young daughter, brags about it online. And this guy, Tucos, complete clown, gets immediately ragged out to the ground, is like acting like, I guess he must hang out with Kevin Holland, which Kevin Holland's main game plan is be a loud mouth, talk while you're in the cage while simultaneously losing every fight. That's essentially what Tokkos did in this fight. He's getting dominated by C, I think it's C. Oumar C, yes. He's getting dominated, getting out-grappled. He's like, this guy's breathing heavy. This guy oil checked me. This guy's got his toes. He's like talking to Brendan Allen, salty man Brendan Allen. That whole camp is full of clowns. And he's like talking, and then, all of a sudden he's just getting rear naked choke because he's too busy focusing on talking to Brendan Allen rather than actual fighting. Now, I'm going to cut him some slack. He did take it on short notice, very short notice, a couple days notice. But an absolute clown, got dominated by Oumar C, took him down, ragged out him, took his back, and found the finish 3 minutes and 43 seconds into the first round. Oumar C, I don't know what this really proves. I don't know how good Tokkos is in general. And what a weird name. It's hard for me to even remember how to say both names. But I don't know how good he is, honestly. I haven't watched a lot of tape on him. But Oumar C dominated him, did what he needed to do, and got the win via first round rear naked choke. Moving up on the card to the featured prelim, we have Tom Nolan versus Victor Martinez. Tom Nolan was winning the fight, was landing good shots, nothing crazy. I mean, it was competitive, and then gets dropped with a nasty right hand. And Martinez looks for the finish, follows him to the ground, looks for the finish, maybe on the ground for 15, 20 seconds max. And then Tom Nolan scrambles up and lands a nasty knee to the body as Martinez is kind of closing the distance. It's kind of a little bit of a delayed reaction. Then Martinez falls to the ground and Tom Nolan just starts slamming him like these kind of uppercuts. It reminded me of Timbo Shishinokami, if you remember that. Obviously, that's in the clinch, so it's a different scenario. But these kind of like wonky uppercuts, ground and pound, just smashing Martinez. But his body was hurt so bad he couldn't react. And he gets a TK. Tom Nolan gets a TKO in the first round. Good win for Tom Nolan. He absolutely needed that. He recovered from the adversity, but after getting brutally chinned by Nicholas Mota to lose his undefeated record, good on him for getting it done against Victor Martinez. I don't know what more to say about it. Victor Martinez is a guy he should beat, who's now 13-6. So it was kind of a matchup to build up another UK guy or Australian guy. Where's he from? He's from the UK, right? I believe he's from the UK. You know, he's from Australia. Okay. I knew he's from UK or Australia. I kind of lumped those guys in together because the UFC is always trying to build those markets. But yeah, Tom Nolan got it done. This is exactly what he should have done against a guy like Victor Martinez. Got hurt, faced adversity, survived. I think he'll be better for it. Gets the TKO. Finishes him with the knee to ground and pound shots. Moving up on the card, we have Angela Hill versus Luana Pinheiro. Angela Hill wins via second round mounted guillotine. Angela Hill won this fight. I mean, was beating up Pinheiro in the first round. There was multiple times Pinheiro looked for like half-hearted takedowns. Ended up in guillotines in the first round as well, but never super tight and always disengaged and got out of that position. But in the second round, getting outstruck by Angela Hill, starting to gas because Pinheiro throws big shots, starting to gas. I think it was once in the first round, twice in the second round. Third time, ended up being Angela Hill getting a real tight guillotine. Pulled guard. It was so tight. She had it in so deep that Pinheiro goes to her back, ends up full mounted, ends up tapping out in the second round. Angela Hill gets it done. I picked her. I know she's old, but she's consistently just good everywhere. Just consistently good everywhere. She was out striking her in this fight. She obviously had the better cardio. Pinheiro is known for her bad cardio. That's what cost her in her last fight against, I believe it was Hebas. But yeah, I mean, Pinheiro really had nothing in this fight. She threw some big combinations. She landed an occasional one, but Angela Hill was winning in the clinch. She was setting up that guillotine all night. Pinheiro had nothing for her at all. And Hill just kept finding it and finding it and finding it. Eventually, she was going to snatch it up because Pinheiro was getting slower, sloppier. She wasn't even committing to the takedowns. That's the crazy thing is. She was literally basically saying, here, take my neck, guillotine me, please. On every single shot. She never even got close to a takedown. Never, ever got close to a takedown. And Angela Hill, I want to say, I can't remember, and I watched this fight because I missed it because Fury Usyk. That's why I'm kind of a little bit late doing this post-fight. But I think Angela Hill even took her down in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, subs her in the second round with the guillotine. Easy win for Angela Hill. And yeah, Luana Pinheiro, bottom of the barrel. Moving up on the card, we have Adrian Yanez versus Vinicius Salvador. Both guys throwing massive shots. Both guys landing massive shots. Yanez kind of flat-footed, eating some leg kicks, but landing decently. Both guys really were landing decently. Vinicius Salvador looked pretty good at bantamweight, actually. And Dominic Cruz starts saying, yeah, Yanez can't really be throwing like this, and blah, blah, blah. He's clearly trying to get a spectacular finish. He lands a nasty right hook and basically sleeps Vinicius Salvador. I think he followed him to the ground with one shot. Landed one shot. Yeah, that's the one when he kind of turned over and was like, you clearly tell he was in pain. But yeah, both guys were overextending. It was just a matter of time before one got clipped and put out. And Yanez clearly has a power advantage in this fight. Salvador coming up from flyweight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he fought CJ Vergara at one point. So yeah, coming up from flyweight, both kind of sloppy, both overextending, but the wonky style of Salvador, I thought he was going to be there to be had, and Yanez found a nasty right hook, put him down. The follow-up shot was honestly unnecessary. He was finished off the right hand. The ref didn't jump in, so he followed with one big shot. Was clean, nasty, brutal ground and pound. One nasty shot right on the chin. Actually, it was kind of to the eye cheek area, and you could just see Salvador turn over. It hurt. It actually hurt. Physical pain. It's not like, oh, his brain was rocked. He was physically hurt. So Yanez gets back on the winning track and gets a win over Vinicius Salvador. Moving up on the card to the co-main or to the featured fight on the card, we have Ramiz Brahimaj versus Themba Gorimbo. Brahimaj basically clinching nonstop. Gorimbo basically clinching nonstop, and Gorimbo would occasionally get a takedown, do no damage, and then Brahimaj would work his way back to his feet, and they would just clinch nonstop. That's the synopsis of the entire fight. Horrible fight. There really was no damage. Clinch, 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 clinch some more. Clinch, clinch, clinch some more. Occasionally, Gorimbo would drag him to the ground and hold him there for about 5 seconds before Brahimaj would drag himself to the cage and get back up. Abysmal performance from Themba Gorimbo. And then he goes out there and starts, I feel like, look, I like Gorimbo. I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. I like Gorimbo. I feel like keeps searching for those viral moments. He had the moment with The Rock, and now he's looking for the viral moment where apparently one of his I think it was his wrestling coach, he asked him to stay an extra month with him, but that coach, his mother was dying from cancer back home, and Gorimbo asked him to stay. He stayed, and then the mother died. And apparently recently cried in an interview about it, and people were attacking him for it, which is actually horrible, and he was going off on the mic about it. But it's like, it just felt like, okay, you're honestly making yourself look bad. He's like, yeah, I forced him to stay here, and his mother passed away. Well, honestly, I know people are going to be, oh, well, that's admirable of Gorimbo for admitting that. Well, if you knew his mother had cancer, you should have told him, you know what, you go back home, your mother has cancer. We don't know how much longer she has. Even if she has 2 months, I want you to spend as much time with her as possible. So I'm not necessarily thinking in that capacity, but I'm just saying it kind of made himself look bad. And then Bilal Muhammad absolutely bodied him on Twitter afterwards, posted a screenshot of Gorimbo messaging him talking shit because Bilal posted a picture with Jamal Hill and said, there's only one champ in this picture. You are not a champ. Like, just talking shit. And Bilal was kind of making fun of him because Themba Gorimbo was talking shit to any online haters. And Bilal said, oh, online haters, yeah, they're really terrible. And posted that screenshot. So bodied him. So overall, shit performance from Themba Gorimbo. At least he acknowledged it in the post-fight, didn't act like it was a great fight. And then the whole post-fight speech made himself look bad, honestly. And then Bilal bodied him afterwards. Overall, he gets a win, but this is a fight he was supposed to win. I think, honestly, at this point, he's an overhyped contender. Not even really a contender at this point. With this performance, I thought it was absolutely garbage, but he did have something weighing on his mind, so give him a little bit of a pass. Moving up on the card, we have Khaos Williams versus Carlston Harris. This fight didn't last very long at all. Minute and a half in, basically, you had Khaos Williams rip a shot to the body, was a nasty shot to the body, and then come over the top. Actually, he got caught with a right hand from Carlston Harris. They were kind of throwing sloppy up until that point. But ripped a shot to the body. I think it was a left hand to the body. Carlston Harris lands like a sloppy right hand that kind of landed to the back of the head. Khaos comes upstairs, lands a right hook, drops Carlston Harris. I think this was actually the one. Am I mistaken? Was this the one where Carlston Harris turned into the ground? I think I was mixing this one up with the Vinicius Salvador one. Yeah, I think Yanez just followed him to the ground and pounded him to a finish. Maybe it was the Carlston Harris finish where he landed one follow-up shot. Either way. Put him down with the right hand, and it was filthy. It was filthy, and then I think it was the one ground and pound shot from Khaos Williams. One shot, didn't even need to follow up, really. I think Yanez actually did need to follow up now that I'm thinking about it. But overall, I think people are going to be overhyping Khaos Williams from a win over Carlston Harris. Carlston Harris is sloppy on the feet. Grappling isn't that great. Pulled off a miracle win against Jeremiah Wells, who, is decent, don't get me wrong. But overall, Khaos Williams, power puncher, found the right hand, landed the body shot to set up the right hand. Competitive up until that point, but Khaos Williams was winning clearly and gets it done. Gets it done with a brutal finish. Would like to see him take a steeper test in his next fight, but overall, I'm not going to put too much stock into a Carlston Harris win. Let's be real here, okay? I'm not going to put too much stock into that. Moving up on the card to the main event, we have Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. Edson Barboza gets the first round KO. Brutally chins Lerone Murphy in the first round, tail end of the first round with a perfectly placed up kick. I'm half kidding. Lerone Murphy wins via decision, but 10 more seconds in that first round, and Edson Barboza is leaving with a first round KO. So basically, that's the moment of the fight. Lerone Murphy winning the first round, rocked Barboza with a right hand at one point, but Barboza circled, was landing some good leg kicks. There was a clinch from Barboza. Lerone Murphy took him down, I think, as Barboza tried to throw a knee in the clinch. Kind of beating him up on the ground a little bit, but then stood up, was like posturing up. Right at the last second, Barboza lands a thudding up kick that literally sleeps from Lerone Murphy. Legs just dropped. He was right on the belly of Barboza, basically out cold, okay? Not like, we're not talking like Terry Edom out cold, but we're talking out for sure. On the replay, it looked even more clear to me. But the bell rung, and then he didn't get up for a second as Herb's telling him to get up, and then he finally gets up, and they cut right to commercial. I hate ESPN Plus with a passion. So I would have liked to seen how he was when he actually got up. But after that, it was just Lerone Murphy beating the dog shit out of Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza had some moments, don't get me wrong. Had some moments, but, basically I can't even really remember the sequences of which round was which because Murphy was tagging him up in every single round. I gave him every single round after one. One you could even give to Murphy, but I gave it to Barboza with basically a KO at the end. And the second round, Barboza was starting to really chop up that leg, but it made Murphy get more aggressive. And what's crazy is I thought about picking Murphy in this fight. If I would have picked Murphy, I would have got the pick right, but I would have had the assessment wrong. I thought Murphy would win this fight with the grappling. He did mix in the grappling quite a bit, got a few takedowns, did a little bit of damage, but he was beating the piss out of Edson Barboza with pressure and volume. He was fighting out of both stances. And I'm telling you, that lead leg was actually more damaged than the commentary was talking about or acknowledging. But it's like every time he would get that leg chopped, he would switch stances, but he'd also get super aggressive. He was cutting off Edson Barboza and just landing big power shots. I don't know how Barboza was surviving. I mean, there was so many big shots. Murphy did not gas. He went a full 5 rounds. And just, I think second round hurt him really bad, was swarming him somehow. I think at one point in the second or third round, there was a point where I'm like, okay, Barboza's going to get TKO'd standing because he's just not going down. Then the 5th round, Barboza was a little bit more competitive in the 5th round, landed some of those leg kicks. And one, I think in the 4th round, again, I'm mixing up all the rounds because all the rounds were very, very similar. But there was one round where Barboza landed a really nasty spinning back kick. I think that was in the 4th round. And second or third round, again, Murphy almost found the finish. And overall, I was just super impressed with Lerone Murphy. Cardio looked incredible. Striking looked really good. I know Barboza's getting old, but I still think he's a decent test. And Murphy was walking him down, beating the crap out of him, landing big shots, also faced adversity in the first round. You look at the end of this fight, you look at the damage on both guys as they're reading the decision. Murphy looked like he got the worst of the fight, as crazy as that is. But overall, I'm super impressed. He's very well-rounded. His striking looked better than ever. Haven't seen the striking look that good for Lerone Murphy. Didn't see that against Coulibaly. Grappling looked really good. He was able to get Barboza down, and he wasn't really prioritizing top control. And Barboza would find his way back up. But even in the clinch, Murphy was kind of bullying him in the clinch, landing elbows on the break, landing good shots. Took a lot of leg kicks. That was super damaging, but he was able to fight out of either stance. He was switching to southpaw, which he wasn't nearly as effective with, but he was still having success with left hooks from the southpaw position. And honestly, my biggest takeaway from this fight, well, I have 2 big takeaways from this fight. First off, Murphy's cardio is legit. Murphy is legit. That's kind of one. The other is I feel like Edson Barboza needs to retire, guys. He's taken so much damage, I can't watch it anymore. This whole fight, I just felt like his brain was getting rattled. You know, like it just made me feel bad. I think, you know, clearly Barboza isn't what he once was. I've been watching him since he came into the UFC when he was a prospect, believe it or not. He took a lot of damage in this fight. He took a lot of damage in the Sadiq Youssef fight. I picked Youssef in the last fight. I didn't pick Murphy because I didn't want to make that same mistake because Murphy was unproven. But Murphy proved a lot this fight. But overall, Barboza has a lot of CTE. He had one, you know, he had some moments in this fight. I think he had, you know, 2 really good solid body kicks. He was landing the jab. Murphy was setting everything up with his jab. Jab, jab, boom, right hand. The pressure and the way he was cutting off the cage of Barboza was masterful. But again, it's Barboza. He's slowing down. I don't want to take too much credit away from him, but he's slowing down, and his brain was rattled so many times. I don't know how he was staying up. But overall, I'm impressed with Lerone Murphy's performance against Barboza. I can't wait to see him against somebody in the top 10. He says he wants to fight someone in the top 10 next. I think he's the real deal. I think he's a legit contender at featherweight, and I need to see Barboza retire. I need to see him retire. I really do. I can't watch him get his brain rattled around anymore. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I will see you in the next video.